But if I had to guess, the team on the defense should be the team that won that knife round.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the other thing too is like a map like this, like I kind of put it a little bit more. I know we put like, GBB as kind of the player to watch. I definitely want to see him bring a little bit more into this game, but I'm going to be curious actually a little bit about that op head to head as well, because we got to see, on the side here for Solid. I mean, we had LCM putting himself in pretty good positions with the op on Ancient. He was essentially, I think he was pretty much winning every single engagement. I don't think Detroit really showed us a lot with the op. I think we saw these quick glimpses of it, but that's where I want to see a little bit more out of a map like Mirage, because we definitely have better fights, a lot more angles that you can utilize the op on both CT and T side. So I think it's going to be important, and I'm wondering if this is the official sides for both these teams. Just kind of waiting to see, but if that's going to be the case, I mean, statistically, I think for a team like Solid, I mean, it's going to be interesting because, I mean, on their T side, it's not the greatest for them. It's a 40% win rate, whereas when we talk about things over here on the other side, the CT win percent is about sitting at that 54.7. So, I mean, Galorys do have themselves in a decent position statistically, but I kind of feel like since the first map, that really is going to matter.
Yes, it is. Match boss still in effect. I think, as you mentioned, the CT side start is going to be very impactful. At the overall stats, Galorys on this map far better on the CT side than the T, 54.7% versus 43.0. I had to guess, as you mentioned, it would be the same for their opponents. Sure, as open, running on the fly. But we have time. It is a technical pause, it appears.
Okay, that's all right.
And so it's a more dismal overall round win percentage, but it's slightly CT favored. A 40%, as you mentioned, on the T side definitely does hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I think Solid have an advantage because they just look better as a unit.
Yeah. And again, it's hard to say, right? Because I mean, there's always the argument that people can say, well, look, like Ancient is a very different map than Mirage. Obviously, we know that. But again, I think you can take a lot away from how teams played. I mean, there was about that 10, 12-minute break in between, but I think for a team like Solid, where, their record is technically worse than Galorys, all these other things are kind of against them, but they really did look like the better team. They looked like this team that were sitting in a higher standings, and it was a map that really was favorable for them. But this is, again, kind of a situation where I still kind of put this at that 50-50, despite the amount of officials that both these teams have played on this. But I don't know. I feel like we're seeing some really good teamwork coming in from Solid. But the question is if they can maintain that. And this is the other thing, too, is other teams like Galorys now maybe are going to have a wake-up call, realizing, okay, look, like we really dropped the ball in the first match. We need to now bring things differently into this, and that could ignite something.
Definitely could. We'll have to wait and see. Again, hopefully this technical pause doesn't last too long. Again, to recount, that first best of one started off on Ancient. It was Solid's map through and through. It was 13-6, but it could have been a 13-5. It could have been even more one-sided as well, given a few slight changes of luck. Galorys had nothing to show on their T side. That's my biggest takeaway. I feel like it might be the same on Mirage if they play with as much individual freedom as they did on Ancient. Like we do have some players talking in the chat. Hopefully that's to conclude this pause. We've yet to see. Oh, we do see an investment coming in from Solid, so it looks like they're ready to conclude things here. Kevlar being purchased by GBB and Ale. Utility for LCM. More Kevlar for CSO. Sudeba probably going to follow with some Kevlar. Yes, he is. Galorys, they have time to invest now as well. We have dualies and armor for Happ, a kit for ninjas, and no utility. It's Kevlar for everybody else. Going to be a duel for Galorys in this pistol.
Yeah, and the dualies weren't even that effective that we saw on the first time, too, so I'm going to be curious if that's going to be a little bit different on this one. Ooh, okay, I thought Detroit might have tried to go through underpass. Instead, is going to push through mid. But now even Solid, again, just kind of putting all their players committed on this B hall. Oh, great position for Happ. I was thinking maybe if he tucks in this corner, makes a bit of a fake jump. Trying to be a bit of a surprise. If there's any utility, that would be huge. But now the utility's flying in from the T side. Uh-oh, this is awkward. Oh, this is gross. This is so ugly. And it's only the one and done again. So we're seeing kind of a deja vu from what we saw in the first time. And now Solid, they got themselves this opportunity. They're going to get the bomb down. And We're at 4-4 already.
Much like the last pistol. Detroit swinging in double towards the apartments is good for one. Ninja's a second on the Sudeba. LCM, a very bad spot to be in, but up close and personal with the Glock can have its own advantages. One secured, a tag onto a second. CSO dancing at Van, looks for something. It's all on LCM. He found one, but his teammates fallen, trying to find those close duels. He very nearly isolates the first, but he misses the opportunity. Defuse from Ninjas comes through. And Galorys start things off right on the second map, the second best of one. They defuse on the pistol.
Yeah, not bad at all. But again, I love that Solid. Like, they still get the bomb down. They make it a competitive one. And like you said, you know, that's such a tough position to be in because LCM was kind of playing just underneath the B apartment window like that. It's such an awkward position because really you have to fight so many different angles. You have somebody above you. You got market player. It's never easy, right? And even with that bomb plant, Solid is going to invest into this. And I actually like this right now because if they can find this round, we're going to be talking about Galorys is going to be sitting in a terrible economy situation. But they're going to do a double player, push down B halls, and that actually might surprise GBB a little bit. I think he's just underpassed now, but this is a ton of information gained for the CTs. They've done so much investigating. This is perfect because now they can reposition themselves, have a better setup for this attack, and Solid, they have zero idea this is happening.
Galorys need to be careful, though. Only one player into that balcony for a while could have definitely been exploited. The headshot duel in middle, though, to start things off, and it works the way of the CTs. Koala takes up his adversary's positioning and is good for one, but it's only one. Sudeba, good trade and response, but still it's only a rebuttal to what was the openers. Still an advantage for Galorys. 4 versus 3. Detroit is low. CSO in the halls. Happ rotating around. It looks like the bomb might just slip the gap. They know Happ's flank is likely. Gonna loop around. Sudaba's not gonna expect this, but he still gets the timing. Does Happ know? Did Happ hear? Happ did the duel. It's all on this. Sudaba does pass that trial, tying things back up at 3 a pop. Ninjas, though, immediate response drops LCM. This is a crazy round with Galorys taking so many aggressive positionings. CSO in towards halls is looking for
3 seconds.
Means everything, and the FAMAS has it through and through. Sudaba, the last live, has the M4, but not the HP nor the information. A second one secured for Galorys off of an aggressive probing press through the apartments. But again, wins like that are not to be relied upon.
No, definitely. And you know, again, think for CSO too, like kind of, you know, creeping at a palace, just trying to get as much information. It's such an awkward thing. Again, talking about so many different angles you have to clear and just really over analyzing it. And I think that was good timing from the ticket player, just able to find pretty much an easy duel. So now we're going to just see a light investment coming in here, just $700 from 3 of the players and spending, you know, just a couple P250s essentially here for the rest of the T side. So really not much invested in this one. If they can get the bomb down, I think that's going to be, you know, first part. Maybe, okay, maybe just swinging with deals and winning fights. That might be the name of the game here. I have no idea, but things are just getting a little bit awkward. But back to the 4 and 4. The nade does a ton of damage against CSO. He's already down 37. So the pin has hit his tooth. He's cracked it. And now the CT's back to a 2-1, or my apologies, a 1-2-1 setup. Very interesting. And Happ does have the Galil here on the B apartments on the balcony. This is probably one of the best rifles to have up close like this. Good fire rate. Should be able to take these guys out. They don't even have armor either, so this should theoretically be a decent spray down. Now it's going to be a test. He's going to be able to do this. He's rolling down mouse 1, and there it is. It's a clean round, and it's a 3-0.
As clean as reasonably could ask. They lost 1 towards top stairs. His rifle won't be recovered. Still, you have to realize that in most cases there's going to be a loss regardless of investment from the opposing team. Very well done from Galorys, not overextending, holding their ground when needed. Also preventing the bomb plant does hamstring that T-side economy a bit. There's no op, there's a piece of utility missing for CSO. Meanwhile, Detroit has his big green in hand and he's ready to use it in round number 4.
Yeah, and this is what I was kind of wanting to see. I wanted to find a little bit more connection with the op. I wanted to, you know, have that opportunity to see Detroit do something a little bit more with it. Now's a big moment. Gonna reposition himself though. And he's actually going to take outside a window. Now he's going to go towards B. Wall in a very unique position right now, but the smoke again just problematic. Good utility coming in from the CTs. Ooh, I like that molly coming in deep connector. That's going to push the CT side back so they can't utilize the smoke that's placed here in front of Con. But again, if you look at this Nate, I mean, Solid, they really don't have a ton of utility left. I mean, they got the 3 mollies, but they only have 1 smoke remaining. So they need to be very careful what they want to do with it.
Yeah, they have gotten a player in position towards connector, though. That was their main goal. Sureba inching ever closer. Koala missed that opportunity, didn't see it. Galorys aren't weak to it either. 40 seconds left, and seems like Solid are waiting a little bit too long, sitting on their hands. The bomb is alone in middle. It is lucky to get away. It drops Koala and falls back. The double fake. The bomb's going towards A, while this fake play from CSO go toward B. Happ is mollied away and low, calling for rotation perhaps. Galorys aren't biting. They still have a player towards A. The information being gained. CSO gets control. It's chaos all over the map. Ninjas, though, is the one to get the opener, dropping Ale. The bomb is out on A. Detroit drops that lone lurk B. Wow, yes, GBB covering. Ninjas takes down the planter as the bomb goes down, though. It's all on this player we highlighted at the start of the show. A 1v2 for him. Ninjas is low, but Detroit is that man waiting in the wings, and both have been hitting shots individually speaking. Bomb halfway gone or thereabouts at this stage. Players inching forward. Ninjas does have the kit, as does Detroit. Tap comes through, compels GBB to a Will he go for it? No, it will be Ninjas instead. Fearless on low HP. He'll dodge, he'll kite the crosshair, and he'll find the kill. Defuse comes through. AKs will be recovered. I don't think the off will be. It's too far gone on Catwalk. Yes, it is. Notice, though, flawless start on their CT side, looking to right the wrongs of map number 1.
Yeah, looking a lot better right now, too. Right now we're starting to see that cohesion. That's where we talked a lot about this, you know, teamwork that we wanted to see from a team like Galorys. Like, again, a team that's sitting at a 9-11 record, 9-12 now, but, I mean, they're kind of sitting themselves in the middle of the pack, right? And we're finally getting to see them a little bit more alive, getting their second win. Detroit does make it big. Connect here with the off, starting things off nicely. Now the CTs, they are just starting to make full connections now. This is now where individual plays need to come into full effect. Ali trying to do what he can, but Detroit just going in for a spree with this AWP. Molotov might push him out a little bit. It's not going to matter at all, though. He repositions himself. Ali now still pushing through this smoke. It's going to be an easy duel. That's going to be the triple for the op alone. LCM on a 1-on-3 with 1:16 to spare. Just kind of scratching his head going, okay, well, I got some work cut out for me.
1v3. Will he go for it? Probably. Wants to keep the economy on the same page. If he can get that bomb plant, the max loss bonus combined with that extra bit of cash would be enough to get AKs and armor if they wanted it, or a potent half buy on the deck to save for a more formidable round in the future. Detroit on the op is keen on a 4K, and he will get it. 9-1. It was a masterclass from LCM in the round prior, or the map prior, excuse me, with the op on the CT side. This time around, it's Detroit's turn to shine. He's at 9. Ninjas as well is second in command for Galorys, which is surprising. We talked about it. He's the one player that kind of lags behind the rest individually on this Galorys team, and yet here he is at the second place spot on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and this is what we talked a lot about in the pre-show. This is what we talked about just, you know, before this map started. Yeah, we wanted to see a little bit more coming out of the CT side here, Galorys, and I'm really happy to see that Detroit's putting himself in a position of a 9-1 scoreline with Ninjas right behind with that 7-1. But I wanted to see more of the op. We finally get it. It comes into effect on a gun round nonetheless too. So it's not even really that much of an argument to say, oh, it's against ecos, or oh, it's against, you know, just light pistols, whatever. No, it's been against some pretty important rounds. Even that last one was important. And this one's going to be another test for him. Sitting in triple, finds himself another duel. Pokes playing a very aggressive angle. He's not even going to get taken out. Pop's making connections, takes down some kneecaps, and okay. Things are looking like it's going to clean up nicely. As Tech9 picked up, not going to matter. Okay, the half is secured. Almost here from Galorys, sitting in a 6-0 and Solid. Now on the point here where they're going to have the guns on the board. And do we see a timeout?
Do we? That's a very big question. I'd say one is overdue at this point. Rifles coming through, including that op, though. They haven't had a chance to use the op on this T side, so maybe they feel like they can still get something done without the timeout being necessary. Still, things are very quickly slipping away from this T side. They have to put their foot down. They have to win rounds in a row. They have to break this T side economy. They have done well to keep it fragile. Ninjas, Happ, and Hoax all just above 2K, but again, if they fall short, it is a failure by most standards. BBB finally ends Detroit's reign of terror, but Happ is there to trade, and he throws some utility into to apply extra damage. Ninjas doubling down from back sight. He's that number 2 on the scoreboard for a reason. LCM and Ale now stuck in a very difficult choke point with no utility to get out. And the rotation has come through in force. Should be no way for Solid to find a way into this B site.
Yeah, and this is the worst position to be in right now for Solid. You're stuck in the B apartments. This sucks. Like, you honestly, you're hoping, you're praying that somebody's going to swing and you're going to win a fight. Because right now, Galorys they're all here. Like, you have one player that's just Hoax just kind of waiting outside of mid, but essentially you have the 3 other players just posted up on this, and they should be able to dead to rights have these fights just like that. So many angles to clear here for the T's. Not easy for the op. This is just about surviving. I don't even think he's going to have a chance, and he will not. And there we go. Op's going to be picked up. The CTs do such a great job. And again, I'm just impressed to see the difference in the teamwork, right? Like, you have the player that falls, the opper, and then the double kill comes in, nades getting thrown, people are already there in the right positions at the right time, and this is what we wanted to see from them, and they are making a statement here. They're a little frustrated on Ancient from the previous game.
Yeah, a different team, a new leaf, perhaps, for Galorys. As the individuals shine, the team play comes through, the rotations are looking smart. They're not biting on fakes, which, by the way, we've seen a lot of fakes from Solid, a lot of chaotic rounds where everybody's everywhere, and yet Galorys don't seem to be lost, don't seem to be misled by such subterfuge. Koala starting things off again in Galorys' favor. Ninja's trying to go piggyback off of that towards underpass, will not succeed in that endeavor, but good to see confidence at the very least. Happ will be the one. Virtually seal around 2 kills unanswered in apartments. No map control to be spoken of for LCM or CSO. At this point, just hoping to be given a duel.
Good positioning from LCM, though. Like, again, a little bit sketchy just because he is holding bomb, but not bad. But again, they have to clear this off. The ticket. Okay, missed shot. That might not be bad. Might not expect it. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, a nice little bit of a bait and switch. Op's going to get picked up here. Still lots of time, but oh no, the op's removed now. That part has been solved in the equation. And now, this might be a difficult one for CSO. He's just trying his best for a no-scope. Nothing. And the streak is going to continue with 8 in a row being gained. And honestly, this is going to be the now big test. I'm still surprised we haven't seen this timeout yet. But you know what? They're going to maintain it. They feel determined, I guess. And now we're going to see LCM will equip himself with the big green. And where does he put this thing? Is it mid, or does he go for maybe an A-ramp hit?
Not sure, but the pressure's on. The Galorys have done very well to prevent bomb plants. That's the biggest thing I've noticed. Bomb plants have been few and far between for Solid. It further hamstrings their economy. Makes them go for those half-buy rounds in between the rifle buys in spite of having that max loss bonus. Detroit, again, finding an advantage. Opener secured in middle. Ale tries to trade, but only takes a lot of damage for it. And Detroit is able to get away scot-free.
Yeah, still down the man, though, too. Like, they just can't seem to find these engagements. Okay, that's not bad. Ninjas was in a bit of a tight spot. Okay, so they bring it back to the 4-4. I was going to say, look, they keep losing these opening engagements. Galorys is doing a good job just finding those opening duels, but... Okay, so now we're back to an equal footing. But who other than Happ? I mean, just finds himself at the right place at the right time, takes another duel, and now he can backpedal a little bit. Detroit, oh, just misses it by sliver. Okay, so now reposition of the off. Koala should be able to have this free duel. Oh, actually a little bit of a premature shot. Now he has to get out of here, find himself a new position. Bomb's going to go all the way around in T-spawn right now. So they're going to try to go back for this A hit. And honestly, probably the best call. It's been the only site they've had success in. Wallace still wins a fight. Oh my goodness. And CSO comes alive with a double now. Things are getting a little more interesting now.
It's taken a while to get to this point, but they finally got there. The question is, can they get away into post-plant positions? LCM and CSO both on site. Op finally gets away, it appears, towards ramp, but it's not planted for ramp. He has to challenge from Tetris to keep his teammate alive. Aid from Detroit does good damage. There's one on happ as well. If he throws that in, it could be CSO's doom. No, he stays alive just barely. They know he's there, that's the question. Op makes its presence known towards Tetris, or does it? LCM is the one to win the duel first, catches happy. Detroit now, no time, he'll find one. The second at range, not quite. No time to get the defuse. Solid. It was ugly. It was last minute. It was touch and go from start to finish, but they're finally on the board. One round secured by virtue of bomb explosion. The question is a round like that replicable? They're not going to have any safe respite. There's not going to be a safe from Galorys. They have plenty of money in the coffer to reinvest. Meanwhile, Solid, their economy is still hamstrung. 2 Galils on Ale and Sureba to round out a buy of AKs and the op, but utility also beleaguered for this T side.
Yeah, that's what we talked about too. I mean, it was actually the other way around that we were saying, look, Galorys are going to have to do a lot more than just these scrappy rounds and finding these messes and getting themselves rounds. And finally now we're starting to see Solid. It was a greasy run. It was not pretty. It was not the greatest sight that we saw, but that might be enough to kickstart something here a little bit. And even then, LCM puts the op into work, makes a full connect on this. This could be enough, maybe, but Ninjas goes for a wide swing and still wins that fight, so bringing it right back, even when they lose the first opening man, they bring it back to an equalized situation in some way.
And Ninjas has been that partner in crime for Detroit. Good trade to go to 4 versus 4, but it was a lot of damage taken by Ninjas, down to 10 HP. Control being taken and happen again, pressuring in halls. He is just so aware, winning that duel time and again with seemingly effortless skill. 4 versus 3. Ale lurking up the smoke con, hoping to find something. He does find an opening on the hoax. Ninjas though still lurking around towards jungle. Bomb is dropped in apartments, I believe, underpass. Don't think it'll be known to happ, who's actually fallen back towards catwalk. But it doesn't matter because happ is going to find the duel onto LCM. The offer removed. Last 2 separated. 1 on A, 1 towards underpass. CSO drops happ. Does he find Koala on the trash can? That's the question.
Oh man. CSO again takes so much damage, but only case 8 seconds remaining. Ninjas now. Not the best position for him. And I'm thinking this is going to be a save, and this will make a lot of sense. Yeah, he's scrambling in the middle right now. He's just looking around. Yeah, he's looking for a gun. He's just trying to hunt for something right now.
Yeah, this is not a great position. And there was one in top con, I think that's where they were.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, and that's, I think yeah, because I was going to say, I feel like the op, I couldn't remember exactly where it was. I was thinking it was more near window, but okay, this is good. I mean, again, Solid to put themselves in 2 rounds in a row, but at least we can keep the big green here for Galorys. And I mean, the money is going to be tight, but they still have a situation where they should be able to get a purchase in, because we are going to be sitting at that, $4,700. But again, if they lose this next round, I mean, this could change things a little bit. Just again, the end point of this first half.
Good. As you mentioned, Solid struggle on this T side, so it makes sense. An 8-4, all things considered, would be okay. It would be par for the course given their performance on this map, but the performance on this map across the board has been poor. Both teams lacking solid records on it. We do have the op for both teams. Lacking utility for Solid, still showing some pains in the economy. They will up the pace yet again, towards the middle. Good players pressing. Sureba finds the opening. A second potentially secured. It all depends on how Ninjas threads the needle. He does get away. It's a catwalk. Fearless in that endeavor. Very well done to get that control at least, but still. Duel taken and won by Solid. They bucked the trend in this first half.
Yeah, and Solid really need to be able to find something here. Just to, again, if they can get themselves in an 8-4, that'd be a nice way to just switch things over for the second half. But again, what we normally have seen is Galorys, some way they lose the first man, they bring it back, and they almost have. LCM, though, he's treading on some very, very dangerous waters right now. Happ, this guy's been all about timing. Oh, yeah, this should be it. Oh, okay, there we go. I was going to say LCM, it looked like he had a pretty good inkling, but the right angle, such a strong corner to hold, and such a choke point. But either way, we're back to the 4-4. There's only 38 seconds left here, so now this is where Solid, again, they got themselves close on this A site. Galorys have put a bit of a gamble on this B site stack, so now they can leave it. They know that they can retreat this, and they should be able to go for the rotates, but again, they only have one kit to work with right now.
The Molotov tells them that it's going to be an A play. Bomb plant sound confirms it. Sude buckets that to dirt. Now the retakes on 4 versus 4. Window control has been taken by the T side. Is that known? That's a good question. Koala jumping up now confirms it. All standing. I mean, awkward walk in. Happ gets the duel. GBB though drops ninjas in the chaos. Happ low on ammo. Can't quite get the kill on the GBB, who has support from Suraba now. Kill secured. Happ trades, but time is of the essence. Bomb only a third of the time remaining. Players will finally cross in, but CSO and Suraba doubled up towards ramp in a very solid position. Happ will get one, but the round is forfeit. It's going to be a third in a row for Solid. Again, economic pains are going to continue. Only one player survives. Galorys only a pair for them. It's going to be a scrappy round to cap off this first half.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, let's not forget too, like we talked about this, but again, like Galorys were sitting themselves at an 8-0. So now Solid, I don't know, they kind of got back, you know, after getting knocked out a little bit here, and they're coming back with a good swing, and we're talking about potentially 4 rounds in a row, maybe, that they're going to be able to bring back. But full investment coming in, and this is a big test for Galorys because they had the lead, they had a lot of momentum. It's kind of fallen a little bit behind them now. The wind is not behind the sails, but see if they can do something a little bit differently. LCM getting really aggressive with this op, playing on lower mid, waiting things out. Koala is just on the other side of this, and look at the op from the CT side. What is going on? Oh my goodness. Nobody to trade that out at all, so that's it. Just a free kill, just on a silver platter.
They're relying on the fact that the player catwalk would see somebody going down towards Valley, but the op got ahead of the curve and secures a free opening onto Detroit, who in the early stages of this first half was one of the heavy hitters. CSO now exploiting the fact that there's been aggression towards ramp, drops Hoax. Solid have a firmer read of the situation at this point, looking to put this 4th round to bed in their favor. Ale finds the 3rd without much trouble. Happ finally finds the trade, but it should not buck the trend. It should not turn this round into the CT side's favor. This should be a 4th for Solid. They get control of A. Koala rotating around CT spawn. Happ is tagged down low. He will win the duel eventually versus Suraba. He's taking a lot of damage for it. GBB drops Koala, and Happ now the last alive. 1v3 to try and stymie the second wind coming out of Solid. Khan, he will come. Top frag for the team, but a 1v3 truly seems insurmountable. It'd be a 1v3 ace clutch, or a 1v4, I think, even. Has passed the op barely. Time of this, the step gives it away. He has a nade to throw towards Firebox, but they're all on full HP. 4-8. Basically secured at this point. A lackluster end to this first half, but Solid, looking solid as we hit the halftime break. Dominant start for Galorys in half number 1 ends in a 4-round streak for Solid, who look to mount a comeback now on the defense of Mirage. It is Pineapple Phillips and Laz to bring you the action. It appears to be a no-nonsense, clear-cut play towards A for Galorys. All 5 players here, 1 in the halls, 4 towards ramp. 2 sets of utility on Koala and Ninjas. Smokes towards stairs and jungle for this T side as the players look to slowly press out ramp. LCM up close with the duel. He finds an opportunity to find more, pushing forward, finds a second before being taken down. Hoax finds a double of his own. No, things even and honest. Dinks exchanged, and Hoax finding yet another 3 on the round as now at long last the bomb can hit the ground.
Oh man, that's crazy. Just a lot of running and gunning, and just the duels just going in favor right now for Galorys, and doing such a great job just finding these connections onto the CTs. And okay, that could be biting my own words here a little bit. But it's back to the 2-2. Time is already pretty much halfway through. There is going to be a kit available right now for the CT side. Koala sitting in a strong position here, just in Palace. Could swing out on this, just getting the timing. Should be an easy tap Reno, and that's going to be a done round. There's no way, surely. And there we go. Koala finds himself in a good spot, finds the double, but either way, it was a good start coming in from Solid. Nice bit of a hold on the A ramp, but then it just all fell apart, and the positionings just seemed to be awkward.
Yeah. I was wondering if Solid could translate that comeback in the first half into something at the start of the second, but it's not the case. They're setting it back. A difficult proposition now as Galorys have a commanding lead. 9-4, 4 rounds separating them from victory in the second best of 1 of the day between these two. Galorys looking to put this to bed. A rifle majority buy, 3 Galils and AK. Mac 10 for Ninjas along with utility. Decent amount, all things considered. Solid. I'll let this round go by the wayside. Pistol stacked towards A, nothing invested, just USPs on that P2K for Alda.
Yeah, and again, with not that much investment coming in from Solid, I don't mind this though too, because I think they're just going to obviously put a bit more from the next one. But the full stack on the safe site, it's a 50-50, right? I mean, this is the best thing they should do, but Galorys have to be really careful. And I mean, they're pretty much through mid now. Oh, they're getting the wrong inkling. Oh, this could be so bad. The smoke blocking this off. But GBB's looks like he's exposed. It looks like he's actually playing quite wide on triple right now. Oh, this might be a give up, but either way, they might still want to go for this fight. He's going to get taken out right away. Hoax finds himself 2, maybe 3. He will. Yeah, why not? Looking for a 4. He's a bit hungry. Big fight coming in, and there we go. Okay, double digits secured here from Galorys. Pretty flawless, pretty clean, and I like it.
Keeping it flawless, making a very solid bonus round, heading into round number 15. Solid, though. Making some interesting and risky investments. Foregoing helmets on 3 to buy utility. You can respect that call, but it's a very difficult proposition versus Galils and a Mac 10, which they should know is in effect because it's going to be a bonus. I like going for a FAMAS to prioritize utility as well, and most importantly, LCM going straight for the op. With no Kevlar and lackluster utility, there's no kit for the CT side. A lot resting on these duels and a lot resting on top and middle.
What?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
It'll answer the call. It'll answer the call for the first at least.
I was thinking too. I was just gonna say I felt like that nade was a bit awkward too, because like his teammate threw it for him, did 20 damage against him. I was like, okay, it's a little weird
because he has no armor.
Oh, true.
So it's a very risky call. Smoke goes up, and still he finds the shot through it. Ninjas though, it's his turn to be a criminal. Through the smoke kill go, good for 1. The second time around though, MVP is not going to be fooled, not going to be misled. So Reba towards CT spawning. A disappointing start to this map, but he's starting things off well in half number 2. Running another combining fire with his team. It's 2 for 1. Okay, Happy doubling down. A 1v3 on the docket. LCM has that op, as we mentioned, no Kevlar. So if he gets shot first by this Galil, the round could be done and dusted. Galorys could steal this one away from what was a very solid defense.
Yeah, it's oh, what? Okay. LCM gets the corner of on the default box, finds Happ, but man, again, like, a good point you bring up, because Happ's been somebody that we talked a lot about. I mean, even just there, like even on Ancient too, right? I was able to find some multi-kills and some really, really unfortunate situations, but still was able to come out shining pretty bright. Even just there, like finds double with a Galil and pretty much a situation that shouldn't have happened. But that's what's been so interesting about Happ is just, again, winning these engagements that really are not favorable, but does a good job of just making connections, but it's just not enough. But either way, despite that going into a 1v1, it does, again, earn the economy here for the CT side. Yes, they keep the AWP, but again, they've had to spend a ton of dollars on this. And you can see there's an MP9 on the board. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love an MP9, but it's definitely not going to be favorable in certain situations on this map, though.
It's not, and it was a bonus for Galorys to get down to a 1v1 with a bomb plant. Sure, they could have felt like they could have won the round. That might sting a little bit, but given what they had brought into the round versus what Solid had, they definitely got their mileage out of those weapons. As you mentioned, the CT side economy hamstrung. There's still no kit in play. MP9 is present. Their utility's less than ideal. They have a good amount of smokes left, but still far from ideal for Solid with which to mount this comeback. Mid control heavily emphasized for Galorys once more. 4 players here lining up into its connector. 1 player towards ramp and Koala. Perhaps to distract while the Wolf comes through towards connector. Spray in towards stairs. And Ninjas gets control again. The spear point. Towards jungle heat. Swings come through. Hoax finds the first. GV a double in response, but Detroit finds that. Sureba lurking, biding his time towards Tetra. And that MP9 sings, finding a double. Ninjas is the one now in the clutch. A 1v3. Past the first hurdle with ease, but he walks right into that winning crosshair of LCM on Catwalk, who will not miss at that range. Solid. Secure a 6th. Begin to build something now on their defense on Mirage.
Well, and that's what we were kind of talking about, right? I mean, again, for a team like Galorys, like their CT side was the bread and butter, right? Like that is statistically the better side they are. They sit at a 43% win rate on this side, on this map. So we're kind of getting a little bit of that picture right now because we're starting to see Solid. They sit at about a 51.8 on their CT side, and they're starting to look a lot better, right? They're starting to look a little bit more comfortable finding these engagements. It's been scrappy though. Like let's not get away from that, but it's still a bit of a buffer right now from Galorys. They still have the 4 round. They don't have any investment really except for a couple pistols. That's it though. They've kept that money tight. So if they can get a couple kills and the bomb down, honestly, that's gonna be a really good landmark for them to hit on this.
It would be. Just pistols for Galorys in this round. Eagle, like that 2 and a P250 are invested, so that could do some damage. They're second guessing their original strategy. They sat in apartments. That smoke makes them think better of it, however. They'll all fall back. No information given to Solid, who might get a little bit antsy sooner rather than later. Jump cross is on the docket for this T side. No one's actually challenging down middle, however. It's playing in jungle passively. That is Ale tucked in towards jungle cubby. Steps heard now. 30 seconds left. Galorys had to get a move on. It's just pistols after all. No reason to save. They aren't actually committing anywhere yet.
No, they're burning so much time. Like they really are. Okay, but sure. Getting opening duel. Okay, that's fine. Again, the lack of armor could be a bit of a cost here, but okay. What? Okay, so now another P250 kill coming in. This is just, again, just the awkward fights, these weird engagements. In a situation that's not looking great. The plant's coming in. They should have enough time. They will not. No, they're not even going to have this round at all. That's going to be a round coming in for the CT side.
And they stay alive after time.
Oh.
I guess they have rifles at least, so they can buy. They can buy Kevlar and some utility, so it's not as bad as it looks. But again, letting time get away from them, a worrying sign for this T side, who were looking to just get across the finish line with some leisurely pace. Again, they were up 8-4. It's now 10-7. And a wise timeout being called. Again, time got away from them on a round where, realistically, you shouldn't even be thinking. You should be dying immediately. Getting a bomb plant at most and nothing more.
Yeah. No doubt. I mean, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is actually the first time out at all they've called in the previous series and even this one too. So this is very interesting. And now they realize, okay, look, like things are getting a little bit too mucky. This is not great for us. Like, we had a 8-round lead. It turned into an 8-4. Now we're talking about a 10-7. And the T side really hasn't looked the greatest. Like, we've seen a lot of individuals kind of step up and, you know, wear the cape and be the hero, but it's just not really there yet. So, I mean, they got a buffer, but man, this is the thing. We talk a lot about momentum. We talk a lot about like the atmosphere of the team, and this is where it starts to get a little bit dicey, right? When things get really, really close like this, it becomes a bit of an issue. But now the CTs are going to get a little bit more aggressive again. They're going to double player in Palace, push through this. They're going to have a ton of information if they actually commit to it, though. LCM's just looking like he's posted up on this. But man, if he pushes through on this, he might be able to get this timing of this execute, because it's one player throwing all the utility right now.
Palace control taking, Hall's control for LCM. Gonna pressure forward as well. Just is gonna walk into it. It's all on timing. Nine walks in, not even shouldering. It's caught by that Galil. I just spotted the bomb though, so that would be a little bit of information gained for Solid, but find themselves now on a back foot. Oaks bottom mid is on an island. Was he spotted? His barrel might have been. Nope. Not. Information given away, and Ale caught swinging towards the underpass looking for information as well. Two players losing their lives for information. That's not acceptable at this point. CSO trying to do his best happ impression is caught and traded by the very same. 2 versus 4. GBB and Sureba. GBB getting a little bit too aggressive, a little bit too cocksure. Tries to stymie the plant and throw in a Molotov. He's caught by the op. Sureba, the last, very far removed from this present situation. He'll try to save his rifle for the following. But Galorys, at long last, found the key to an 11.
Yeah, they finally make it look a bit more convincing on this. And honestly, I feel like Solid were kind of the ones that were pressing forward and just trying to get information when they shouldn't have. And like LCM was kind of the first start of the domino. And then I think it was Ale that came in through mid on Con. Like it just, again, just started falling apart here. And even now, that's, I was just thinking maybe knife, but no, realizing that it was going to be a turn and a bit of a flick of the wrist. But he, again, 11th round being gained here. Finally here for Galorys, and that's great. But now the CT sides, look at their money. Look at what that's done to them. Nate, that is just, it's trash. It's just garbage.
Sent them asunder. They know they have no choice. They have to go for an investment. They can't give away a 12th, not when there's so many rounds as a gulf between these two teams. Scout for LCM, 5-7s for a trio, and Ale CSO and GBB. MP9 for Sureba, who's made that weapon sing in the past. The question is, can he make it sing even more here and now? Because that kind of heroism is required. Galorys, an early commitment towards an A-side execute, perhaps, as smokes rain over. Sureba's going to block the smoke towards stairs. Wise call there. It'll give him a gap to exploit. That brings the MP9 might struggle. Galorys going to commit to this execute. Scaling forward. Both the smokes miss towards jungle. Sureba will exploit that. Ninja's caught. Now Galorys in an awkward spot on site with no smokes to support.
Yeah, this is not a great position because now they're going to try to re-aggress into the CT side. And oh, no, the 5-7, the 5-7! It's just finding multi-kills and even a scout to make it insult to injury. The CTs with the worst purchase in the world, a scramble of a purchase. Man, and now they're sitting in a position of a 4-on-1. Detroit here with the op. Still under a minute, but again, doesn't have the bomb, doesn't have really any control of this round at all. And this might honestly just be playing Survivor, just keeping this op in his hands, conceding defeat for round 19 here. But my God, I cannot believe we saw that double kill coming in from CSO. Just played behind, just on the backside of boxes there, or on the pillar by ticket, and finds himself a double that honestly saved them the round.
It was supported by the scout. Very well done from Solid. In making that execute uncomfortable, but not so much so that Galorys fall back and don't commit. They just block the smokes, wait for them to commit in, and then close on them.
Counter-terrorists win.
Round done. Detroit does survive with his op. Solid inching closer. It was a must-win round, and they do pass that first monumental trial.
Yeah, really. I just, again, like, it's just these like scramble rounds that we see, and it's like, what, I don't know which like bingo part, you know, on the card that you find here, but like my God, like I just did not have Solid picking up that round at all, like in my views, in my sights, and they come up big. And those are kind of the rounds you need too, because now, I mean, this is, again, you got the 3 AK, sure, but you can tell there's a ton invested on this. And if Solid find this round too, I mean, this is going to be a, you know, talking about a save, Solid pushing themselves in double-digit territory where it could be a 1-round differential. Boy. It is getting neck and neck on this one. But there is some good control coming in from the T just under window now. So, I mean, at least mid control is theirs for the time being, but the CTs have now boosted themselves up on the B apartments. Double player stack, kind of playing the 2-1-2. Oh, and LA getting a little aggressive, and now this is awkward. He has to get out of this. He just needs to transition there. Okay, he will survive with his life.
Most important. Again, that aggression ramp from Sureba. CSO. To here. Fails at the first hurdle. GBB, though, has rotated, as has a compatriot. There are 2 here towards B still, but they're in difficult spots. Ale, the first secured, but more are needed. 35 seconds left. Galorys waiting for over-aggression. There's one player in Get Right. He's the one to start things off. He's the one to set off this take. Where is he? Pressure in the apartments comes in. Swing for Hoax, who finds one. Koala as well. Finds another. Ninjas on the Mac 10 of all things. Finds yet another. It's just LCM in market. He's normally an opper, but with only an AK in hand, he'll have to keep the team alive, and he will fail. That Mac 10 flank doubles up. And Galorys, after a difficult time in the second half, have at long last secured that point.
Well, we're finally here, and now it's a question if they can get that last round to get across the finish line, to get things done. But look, again, we're in a position where Solid, they've done this before, so I'm not going to say they can do it again, but I'm not saying they can't do it again. So I'm not having caster cursing right now, but this is a position right now where Galorys have to be very careful how they do this, because I think we saw before, kind of fell asleep at the wheel a little bit. They drifted off, and they got punished for it. So, I mean, this is still a position where they need to take it step by step, inch by inch on this one. And even right now, the CT side, they're doubling in window. They're trying to do a bit of a mid crunch, and I kind of like this, because if they can find Hoax, that can be a free rifle gained.
Yeah, I think an isolated duel. Question is, will they drop towards underpass immediately off of that kill? Will they be confident there's not a second one lurking? Top of the smoke, LCM gets a tag with the scout. The 5-7, though, not finish what it started. It's caught through the smoke as it re-emerges. App another onto CSO, and it feels like Solid have finally met their match. They put up a good fight in the second half, but it's not enough. The MP9 on Catwalk, it's a dink, but not a kill. Hoax finds yet another on the GBB. Solid being picked apart slowly yet surely. Sureba pushing forward, finds nothing. Ninjas drops LCM in the meanwhile, and Galorys secures map number 2, 13-8, to split the series 1-1 in even fashion.
Yeah, honestly, still very impressive, I think, from both these teams, right? I mean, we got to see Solid looked really good on Ancient. They took it pretty dominantly. And then, honestly, even though that we saw, you know, a Mirage, like Galorys putting themselves in an 8-0, Solid came back. They had that second wind. They got 4 in a row. They started making things really, really competitive. Got some rounds that they probably shouldn't.